Today we're going to actually talk about how to estimate repairs. Now, I'm going to put out a disclaimer. This video is going to talk about just generic areas kind of that are booming, but not like just high profile areas like Los Angeles and New York City, because these values that I'm going to talk about for estimating cost of repairs are not going to transcend in some of those areas. And then I will always recommend that you fact check this for your area, but we're going to talk about what I see that's kind of like the majority for different states and cities to rehab properties in an area that has somewhat of a big, I guess a big metropolis, kind of like Atlanta where I live. And these these estimated cost of repairs or renovations transcend to probably 90% of the populated areas. So let's talk about 3 types of flips that I like to do and how you can estimate those repairs. So the first one is the cosmetic flip. This is where you're not changing anything major, you're not doing any CapEx. CapEx is basically capital expenditures, CapEx for short, but capital expenditures, just so you know, are kind of like brand new roof, windows, HVAC, water heaters, stuff like that. No, we're not talking about that on this cosmetic flips. We're talking about painting and flooring and maybe dropping in granite, refinishing cabinets, putting in light fixtures and plumbing fixtures, painting the outside maybe, carpet, stuff like that. That's what we're talking about, some light landscaping. Those kind of properties where you're just in and out, probably a 2 to 3 week remodel, are going to cost you right around $25 a foot. So on a $100,000 purchase, your estimated number, base number, if it's 1,000 square feet, 1,000 square feet, you're gonna multiply that by $25. So that's gonna be $25,000. So if that property you're buying for $100,000, you're gonna put $25,000 in it, you're all in for $125,000. Hypothetically, it's probably gonna be worth like $160,000, right? Maybe more, maybe a little less, but on 1,000 square feet, it's gonna be $25,000. If it's 2,000 square feet, it's gonna be $50,000. So it's really about the square footage and not necessarily the valuation of the ARV, the end goal. It's all about the square footage when you're estimating cost. And these are just blind costs for you so that you can understand, making an offer, so that you can kind of get an idea of what these properties are going to cost you. Now you may take your contractor in there and they may say something like, no, it's going to cost $20,000. No, it's going to cost $27,000. $25,000 is a safeguard for you. That $25 a foot for a cosmetic remodel is a safeguard for you. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to help you enough to make a good, competent offer, especially if you don't know your numbers yet, because maybe you're a beginner or a novice, or you're just trying to get a handle on estimating cost. So number 1, the cosmetic flip, $25 a square foot. All right, let's talk about number 2. This is kind of like your mid-grade flip. You're adding a little more extra cosmetics. It's basically all the cosmetic flip, but you're adding a little upgrade in the cosmetics. Maybe the shiplap wall, beadboard, a little bit nicer vanities. You're gonna start adding roofs on and new HVACs, things like that, possibly windows. I would actually push this right around $40 a foot. So 1,000 square feet, $40,000. If it's in an area that needs a little bit more, plus it needs a little bit extra with the capital expenditures. That's it. 1,000 square feet is $40,000, 2,000 is $80,000. Like I said, here's another disclaimer. Like I said in the first example, this is not, this is basically an arbitrary number, but this is something that I see that is typical, but your contractor may say it's a little bit overkill. But if you want to make a competent offer on this property and you are a newbie, a novice, or you're just trying to get a handle on it, just like I just previously said, then this is a safety net for you. Now let's talk about number 3, the final flip, which is the full detail flip. This is all of the stuff that we talked about in the first 2 examples. This is all the cosmetics, everything we talked about there. This is the capital expenditures, but it's also, you're going to do a little bit extra, even more than possibly what you're doing on the mid-grade flip. Maybe you're going super high end with quartz and then it's a full detail flip. Full detail to me, if you've seen any of the videos we've talked about in the past, it's actually like blowing out walls, knocking out walls, adding LVLs, giving a little bit extra open concept floor plan so that you can flow around the property a little more. You also are adding in new electrical, new plumbing, possibly doing an add-on, things like that. That's a full detail flip. So it's all of that plus the cosmetics and a little bit more. That's gonna usually run you about $70 a foot. So there again, 1,000 square feet, $70,000. A 2,000 square foot home, $140,000. That's the estimated cost. So do your own due diligence when you're looking at this, but if you're making blind offers, basically you're not seeing them before you offer on them, or if you're astro flipping, which is basically the same thing, you're not seeing the properties before you're negotiating with a seller, or maybe you are just riding around making offers, but you just don't know, you've already seen the property, but you just don't understand how to competently bid on properties, and you don't have time to get a contractor out there because you have a competitive market in your area, then this is a safety net. So just remember that and go do your own due diligence. Definitely have your contractor look at the property after you contract it to make sure that what you have estimated is right on track. And then that's it. That's the name of the game. 25, 40, and then $70 a foot. If you have an opinion, go ahead and comment below. I actually read all the comments and respond to them. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want more REI Society information.